Team pick.
Hello everyone and welcome to NizCast. I of course am Niz. It's been a while since we've been casting. We had a little bit of a break there in the Dota 2 Canada Cup schedule, but it allowed me to rest my voice and get things a little bit prepared for the days of games to come. Although we may actually have another break following this series. The next series is scheduled on the 28th, but it's still tentative. And there's actually two series scheduled for that date, so we'll see if we actually get to play those, or maybe they'll get pushed back a little bit. But we'll have to see whether those actually come out. But we do have a match tonight. It's going to be a best of 3 between Not Today and Infamous. We are in the losers bracket round 2. Now I remember earlier on I mistakenly said that the losers bracket were going to be best of 1s the entire way. I was wrong with that. It's just the first round that's best of 1. This round is going to be best of 3. So we're going to get 2, maybe 3 games between these two teams tonight, and that should be a lot of fun. But both these teams kind of struggled since we last saw them. Not today. They kind of did the role of the upset in that best of 1 in the losers bracket. They knocked out Team Archon. The team that's going to the Shanghai Major. They got knocked out in the first round of the Dota 2 Canada Cup in that best of 1 by Not Today. And frankly, it was a pretty dominating performance by Not Today. They look really good in that game, and they definitely outplayed the crap out of Archon. So we're going to look to see if they can continue that that performance in the Dota 2 Canada Cup in this game. Although since then, they've been playing in some other tournaments, and they haven't really fared too well. They're sitting at 1-4 since that series, which isn't really the best record to be sitting on. But they were playing a lot of Nature's Prophet and really push-oriented lineups, picking up Shadow Shamans, Enchantresses, Lone Druids, which we're actually seeing in this game. That kind of pushing meta. We saw maybe a little bit of Oracle. I think it was picked one of those games. Vengeful Spirit, Beastmaster were all kinds of the picks that they were going for. They played AA twice as well, I believe. So we might see that, probably not with that Nightstalker pick, but we'll see. As for Infamous, they also haven't fared too hot. They're sitting at 2-4 since their last match, where they were up against Elite Wolves in the Dota 2 Canada Cup, and they got 2-0'd. That's how they're down here in the losers bracket. But yeah, we're seeing them pick up their Dazzle. It's their most played hero in the past month. So they're going to pick that up. Go to what you know. Unfortunately, they haven't really seen too much success with it. They only got a 16 point whatever % win rate with the hero. It hasn't fared too well for them, but we'll see. We'll see how they're going to do with it this time. As both these teams, South American teams, we expect they've played each other a lot in small South American tournaments, but also probably scrim each other quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see how they two of them square off tonight. But without further ado, let's actually get into talking about the bans and the picks. And let's get this draft covered. As we got Undying, Enchantress, Razor, and Viper banned out by Not Today. The bans for Infamous were Invoker, Wisp, Darkseer, Queen of Pain, and now a Puck as their 5th and final ban. Not Today, they picked up the Lone Druid, Oracle, the Jerry Oracle we know and love, Beastmaster, and Nightstalker. And Infamous, they picked up the Batrider, Dazzle, Slardar, and Bounty Hunter. So already we're seeing some nice minus armor synergy there on Infamous with the Dazzle and the Slardar. On top of that, they've got some great pick-off potential. Slardar can get his Blink Dagger up fairly early. He's going to be able to jump and crush on people. Batrider, same thing. Gets the Blink Dagger. He blinks in, gets the lasso off. Then you want to see him get a Force Staff to be able to push himself back towards his team. That's ways that they can get easy kills. Bounty Hunter is going to be able to put some pressure on early on to help maybe some of those heroes get their Blink Daggers up, but also it's going to synergize well with the ganking style of their lineup. They get the track gold, which means every single gank that they get, as long as the Bounty Hunter's there, as long as he gets the track up, they're going to get extra gold for it, which is going to help them snowball if they really go after this really aggressive gank-oriented lineup. As for Not Today, the Lone Druid, we've seen Lone Druid a lot recently as he's really rising up in terms of priority in the meta. We saw Brax play it phenomenally as well, as some other teams have been really picking it up a lot. But we're not 100% sure where the Lone Druid is going when we see him this early in the draft. But now that the Beastmaster's been picked up, we expect that to be in the off lane. Lone Druid could still be safe lane, could also be mid. We're not sure between those two lanes, but we know it's most likely not going to be in the off lane with the Beastmaster already get picked up. The Night Stalker, we expect that to be a support paired with the Oracle. So Not Today's just looking to finish out their roster with either the mid hero or the safe lane hero, depending on where they want to put that Lone Druid, now that they've seen the 5th pick from Infamous being the Death Prophet, which we can assume is going to be their mid hero. It didn't cover the last ban from Not Today. It's going to be a Wind Ranger.
10 seconds remaining.
And that allows us to get all caught up right in time for Not Today's last pick.
5 seconds.
They do have an extra 13 seconds in reserve time, so don't leave me hanging here. Don't let me... Uh-oh. They're going to use all their time.
10 seconds remaining.
I almost had it all perfectly timed out there, but we're almost there.
5 seconds remaining.
Who's it going to be? Going up against Death Prophet. They're going to go Outworld Devour. That's a hero that does very well against Death Prophet. And we're going to see just how well Not Today is going to be able to run that. As we get set for Game 1 of this best of 3 between Not Today and Infamous for the Dota 2 Canada Cup Losers Bracket Round 2, and it wouldn't be a competitive game without a pause immediately at the start. So hopefully they get sorted here and get ready to go, whether it's a bug and someone needs to restart or just changing of hotkeys or whatever. Hopefully it won't be too long. I have no idea what these players are saying in chat, but hopefully it'll it'll resume itself here, and we can just get back to what we know and what we can interpret, and that's the Dota game. It's interesting that neither team has actually said, you know, they haven't said what the pause is about, unless they did, and I just don't know what they said. But hopefully it won't be too long. Alright, we're good to go. So here we go. Let's start off with this game. Let's start off by introducing the teams and the players. On our Radiant side is going to be Team Infamous. We got ZTalk playing the Bounty Hunter. X is going to be a stand-in. Didn't actually get to see whether this is SVG. We saw SVG playing with XSVG, just with the X as his name the other night, so it could just be SVG. I'm just going to call him X because I'm not sure. But he's going to be playing the Slardar. We've got Greedy on the Bat Rider. Ryu is going to be playing the Death Prophet, and Excel is going to be on the Dazzle. As for our Dire side, it's going to be Not Today. We've got Goody playing the Lone Druid. Their Beastmaster is going to be played by DDX. Surprisingly, it's Jerry playing the Night Stalker, and that leaves Glacius to be playing the Oracle. So a little bit surprising there that Jerry's not on his Oracle. But last and certainly not least, we've got G playing the Outworld Devourer. That's where we stand in terms of who's playing what. As we do have a set of sentries on either side, as we typically see with a Beastmaster, or with a Bounty Hunter, excuse me. As we expect the enemy team to want to pick up some sentry wards so they can place one down in the mid lane. We already see one on the Outworld Devourer right now. The other one's going to be held by Jerry. But that allows them to put in the mid lane, try and protect their mid against the Bounty Hunter. But of course, the Bounty Hunter picks up a sentry wards of his own to quickly counter those up, so he can be just as effective doing what he wants. ZTalk actually got spotted by the creeps there, as Not Today starts rotating on in, trying to spot that Bounty Hunter. They're looking for him, but they know. Everyone knows what the Bounty Hunter's all about here, as Jerry's actually going to walk back. He's going to get the item off the courier and just walk it down the lane to his Outworld Devourer. So they don't have to risk it against this Bounty Hunter. We're actually seeing Bounty Hunter use the Sentry Ward to block up this camp, and that's to stop DDX from constantly stacking and allow him to drop back in the lane and get some farm there. Let's actually cover the lanes, because we got a little bit different lane setups than we might have initially expected. It's a Beastmaster in the off lane. He's going up against a safe lane Bat Rider. We already know the Bounty Hunter is going to be roaming around, but he's in the bottom lane for now. As for the mid lane, it's the Death Prophet going up against the Outworld Devourer, as we expected. That leaves top lane, which is actually going to be Dazzle Slardar, duo off lane, going up against the Oracle and the Lone Druid. And Night Stalker's also going to be roaming around, maybe trying to predict where the Bounty Hunter's going to be and kind of mimic where he's going. But he might actually end up homing himself more towards the top lane, given that there's a 2v2 lane up there. So far, Ryu's actually doing quite well on this Death Prophet, sitting at 4-2 right now, compared to just the 5-4, now 6-4 on G. So Death Prophet holding her own early on. This lane has changed a little bit, given that before you used to just spam Astral Imprisonment on the opponent, and that helped twofold by one, stealing int, giving yourself int, so it makes it harder for an int-based hero like Death Prophet to last hit, but also makes it easier for the Outworld Devourer to last hit. But on top of that, you timed your Astral Imprisonment whenever the opponent needs to go up for a last hit. That's the easiest time that you can get in range. As G's going to get initiated in on here, as he's going to drop a Sentry Ward, but he's going to go down for a First Blood as Ryu's going to get it. Meanwhile, there's a little bit of action in the top lane as they came over to contest the pull, but it's actually going to cost Excel his life, as Not Today get their first kill on the board. But yeah, the change to Outworld Devourer has really changed the int versus int matchup, because you used to, like I said, used to Astral Imprisonment the hero as he went for a last hit. That meant that one, you were stealing the int, which is beneficial for you, but it also made sure that the opponent wasn't able to get that last hit because he wasn't able to get his attack off. So it helped twofold like that, but since the change so that the int steal is actually bound to your Arcane Orb and not to your Astral Imprisonment, that's meant that, there was a kill in the top lane, Slardar went down. That's meant that it's a little bit of a different way to play this mid lane, and you're less likely to steal int, so it favors Death Prophet more than it did in the past, but I have to say that Outworld Devourer should still be favored in that matchup, but certainly this Bounty Hunter is going to play an important role in changing that and giving the Death Prophet some space. As we're going to see Z-Talk open up on G once again, as X has respawned and he just comes sprinting down the lane. It's going to be another dead Outworld Devourer, as Infamous get their second kill of the game. And second kill on that mid OD, and we can already start seeing the effects of that, as Ryu is actually up at 19-5 CS, whereas the OD is just sitting at 13-5. So Death Prophet actually getting the most out of the lane there, as G is going to TP back to the mid lane. More action top lane maybe, as Z-Talk's going to try to open up on Goody, but Z-Talk's going to be in trouble. He's going to get slowed down by the Void. Jerry pops the dust, and they have complete vision of this Bounty Hunter as they try to get a kill on Oracle, and they're going to find it because X gets the right click off. So it's actually going to be a trade as Excel... Uh-oh, this isn't going to be a trade anymore. He's trying to eat trees and juke his way back as X comes in and gets a nice stun off, as Excel keeps trying to juke, and maybe he's juked Jerry, maybe not, as he's going to go all over the place, as X is going to find a kill, as Ryu comes up here and helps out as they drop Goody, but there finally goes Excel, but huge plays from Excel, as Jerry's going to go down as well. Excel, oh my goodness. Glacius going to go down here as well, as they're going to dive past the tower, and honestly, all those kills, those 3 kills from Infamous were all because of Excel juking through the trees here. He was making a fool out of this Not Today top lane. He was just juking everyone, and he just bought so much time for his team to make the plays, and they ended up finding 3 kills on the back of it. As Not Today, they did get their kill on the Dazzle, but Excel bought his team so much time, and it ended up costing Not Today 3 heroes to get that 1 kill on the Dazzle, which is certainly a trade that you don't want. It's DDX. He's looks to be struggling in this bottom lane, and that's what we expect. Beastmaster versus Batrider. Batrider's just going to completely dominate that lane, and we see Greedy at 35-3 CS right now. DDX just at 18-2, and once again, it's this Bounty Hunter back and forth between the 2 lanes. This is already a heavily Batrider favored lane, and if all of a sudden a Bounty Hunter can show up at any moment, that certainly makes it even more favored for Batrider. as we're seeing this Beastmaster continue to struggle. As Jerry's going to lose a little bit of HP here, but there's no way that they're going to be able to get a kill here. Or will they? As Greedy, he doesn't have enough mana for lasso, so... Now DDX is going to come in, get the Primal Roar off, but it's actually just going to cost him his life. As G comes in, drops the Sanity's Eclipse. Doesn't really do too much damage, because he hadn't stolen much int, but now G is going to have to run away, and he will be able to, because he's got that Haster, and his Z-Talk's going to go down. Now Ryu's going to get slowed down by the Void there, as he's just going to come hasten on back through, but the Crush will catch him, and OD will go down. G with a little bit of a risky play there, and he gets caught, and he pays for it with his life. As X just barely got that Crush off. That must have been the very edge of Crush radius there. As for the top lane, we saw Goody go down in that crazy juke display of juking potential from Excel. But Goody's up to 26 and 14 CS right now. He's the most farmed on his team, but certainly behind the two leaders on Infamous. He's a full 10 CS or more behind the Batrider and the Death Prophet. So far, Infamous has definitely won out on the lanes here. I think back to the Shanghai Major, we saw Digital Chaos completely demolish in one game against Complexity, I believe, where it was Owie 2000 on his Batrider, on his Bounty Hunter, and he just did such a good job roaming around, just completely dominated the game early on, won his team the lanes. We're seeing a little bit of an example of that from Infamous, as we're going to see a trade of heroes down here. As DDX was getting ganked, but he did manage to get the kill on Excel, as Excel wasn't able to juke that time. But we're seeing something similar to that, the Bounty Hunter having a huge impact on this early game, and helping his team win the lanes, and certainly Infamous has won their lanes as a result of the bounty moving around. But I think through the draft, they put themselves in a better position to come out ahead in the lanes, as they've set themselves up so they've got this Batrider going up against the Beastmaster. Mid is you know, Death Prophet versus OD.
Dire's middle tower is under attack,
but you don't really expect the OD to win as hard as he potentially could, because you've got that Bounty Hunter. So once again, Bounty Hunter having that huge impact there. And then the top lane, you've got this Dazzle Slaughter off lane, which you don't really think it's going to get much. And you take a look at the CS, it certainly hasn't. You got 13 and 4 CS on the Dazzle versus 6 and 1 on the Slardar. So both of them don't really have much CS up there. But what it's done is kind of contested the Lone Druid safe lane without really sacrificing too much in terms of your other lanes, as it kind of forced Jerry to stay up there in the top lane and make it more of a tri lane, because an Oracle Lone Druid isn't really going to be able to punish a duo lane, especially one with Dazzle. So it kind of keeps the Lone Druid, keeps the Night Stalker up there, which then once again, I said that the Night Stalker wants to be moving around and he wants to be kind of mimicking their movements and rotations from the Bounty Hunter, but if he's tied up in the top lane, he's not able to do that, and the Bounty Hunter is able to roam free.
You should have known.
And that all really comes down to the draft, and Infamous just planning this out a little bit better. Bottom lane, DDX is going to get caught by a lasso as he's going to go down, as X rotated on in for that.
Dire's structures are fortified.
He's going to dive in the mid lane as Glacius is in trouble.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The Astral Imprisonment will actually keep him alive, as it's going to prevent Ryu from charging on forward, and it's actually going to be Z-Talk, the first hero to go down. Here's Ryu's just going to try to run away. He's got the Exorcism going, so he is going to get healed up as soon as that expires. He's got about 5 or so seconds left. As G is going to get another banish off, and this time he's going to get slowed down. Greedy, unfortunately, doesn't have that lasso because it was used so recently on that kill on DDX in the bottom lane. Means that they're not able to grab G and pull him back there. So we won't get another kill. We do have that mid-tier 1 tower going down, and now Ryu's going to get stunned up by the Primal Roar as X starts sprinting on in, but he gets banished by G. As soon as he comes out of there, he's going to get a great crush, and it's going to land on 3. As he's going to try to bring down DDX, and he does with the help of Z-Talk, but it costs him his life, as Excel is going to turn around and get a weave off on all the 3 heroes from Not Today that were trying to charge forward. And with that minus armor coming on, they're going to back away. As we're kind of used to seeing this many kills early on in the game between 2 South American teams, and certainly this series hasn't disappointed so far. 11-10, 11 minutes in. This Infamous, yeah, they won the lanes, but they're actually pretty damn close to even in terms of hero kills so far. So Not Today, don't count them out of this. They've shown that they're able to fight back a little bit. As we take a look at our net worth, and, well, we don't actually have time, because Jerry's going to get caught here. And he's going to go down without them having to use lasso, which is quite important. That means Greedy's got that available for any further engagements in the next, 90 seconds. We saw them potentially miss a kill on G in the mid lane because the lasso was on cooldown last time. So it's important not to use it if you don't have to, especially on a hero like Batrider, where lasso is so important to your ability to move around and gank. Because if once lasso's on cooldown, you're basically not much of a threat for the next 90 seconds. So if you don't have to use it, don't use it. Mid lane, they're going to go for a gank on G, but he's somehow found another haste rune.
Bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower.
Z-Talk, he's done some scouting in the Dire jungle. He's found DDX. Ryu's going to start charging on in here. Primal Roar's going to get off, but oh my goodness, he died so fast. And they've got the Yule Scepter on the death prop. That means they toss the Oracle up in the air, and look at G. He's in trouble. Once again, Greedy has used the lasso. I believe that's how he got G into this position, and they're going to find a kill on him. As Glacius, he's got nowhere to go, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, as he is going to go down here in just a second as Infamous claims another kill as they now start to really distance themselves. 15-10 as they get about an 1,800 gold swing on those 2 kills going in their favor. And this is the effect of that Bounty Hunter. He is level 6, in fact he's level 8, he's got the track going for him, which means all these kills are just going to help Infamous so much. And this is a hero that really fits well into, like I said, what we expect 2 South American teams. We expect a lot of kills because that's how all the games seem to go. And Bounty Hunter just fits into that so well. As track just means if you're trading, you're always on the upper hand. Well, we've got our Death Prophet leading the way in terms of net worth, sitting at 7,100. Then it's Goody on the Lone Druid, as he's at 6K. I'll take a quick look at what he's got. So he's got Phase, Orb of Venom, and Iron Talent on the Bear. He's got just brown boots on his heroes, but he's sitting at 3,400 gold. So he's getting close to getting that relic. So Not Today, yeah, they've fallen behind a little bit, but they found some space for their Lone Druid at least. His lasso's going to get used on G here in the mid lane as they're going to pop that exorcism. G's going to delay his death by banishing himself. Axe going to charge forward. Nice crush, nicely timed onto Glacius there. He knew that Glacius was going to try to get the false promise off onto that Outworld Devourer, but he stunned him in time so that they were able to get the kill on not just the OD, but then follow up with one on the Oracle. As Not Today is kind of falling apart here in this team fight. It actually forced out a buyback from the Oracle as Glacius once again in trouble in the bottom lane as Ryu and Z-Talk are on him. They're going to find it's going to be a dieback for Glacius. These fights are kind of all over the place, but Infamous still finding the kills regardless of how spread out the fights are. 19-10 now. G's going to TP up to the top lane, try and get a little bit of farm up here as best as he can, but it's really just that one catapult before he's having to back away. And he's going to go into the jungle where he might be found by Greedy. But Greedy doesn't have enough mana, and Lasso is on cooldown for another 3 seconds. He will have enough for Lasso now, but no Firefly or any sticky napalm. Take a quick look at X, and he's already up at 2,100, almost 2,200 gold. So his Blink Dagger is going to be coming out soon, and that's just going to make it even more difficult for Not Today.
Denied. Thank you.
His 4-staff also coming out by the Batrider.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Got the Yules, they've got the Soul Booster on the Death Prophet. Almost mech completed on Z-Talk. This is just super scary, and I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'm just not really sure what Not Today's going to be able to do here. Is
Radiant's
got
middle
an
tower
Aether
is
Lens
under attack.
recipe picked up by Excel. Guess he's going to have that coming up soon.
Dark light.
We're just going to pop the Firefly. He's going to look, see if he
Dire's
can
bottom
find
tower
anyone,
is
but
under attack.
Jerry's pretty far back. Don't think... Well, I think he just got a glimpse of Jerry there for a second. But Jerry is now rotated away, as it looks like everyone on the end of Not Today has moved away from the bottom lane. They don't want to be anywhere near
Dire's bottom tower
fighting
is under
down there.
attack.
So they're just going to let their tier 2 tower go. His Goody's about 1,000 gold away from
Radiant's
completing
top
that relic.
tower
Or
is under
Radiance, he's
attack.
already got the relic.
Dire's bottom tower
As we got
is
some
under
heroes
attack.
TPing up to the top lane from Infamous as they're going to
Dire's
try to get a
bottom
pick off
tower
here.
has fallen.
As Greedy blinks on forward. Will he get a lasso off? He's going to cast it onto Glacius. And perfectly timed. Nice coordination there as X blinks on in. Gets the crush off onto G. That's what Greedy was waiting for. And then they're going to get another kill on DDX. Greedy was chasing down there. And we were wondering, why isn't he going to cast his lasso? And it was tough, because if you cast it on the Outworld Devourer, then you're going to get the False Promise coming out from the Oracle, as well as you're probably going to get stunned first, then the False Promise. And if you cast it on the Oracle, then you're going to get banished by the OD. And we did see him cast it on the Oracle, but he waited a little bit. And that was so that X could get in range, so he could blink and get the
Dire's
crush
top
off.
tower
So
is
he
under
blinked,
attack.
crushed, stunned up the Outworld Devourer, which meant that they were able to kill the Oracle. And then they moved on to the OD and then killed him, and then eventually the Beastmaster. A great coordination there for Infamous, just waiting there for that slaughter to come in, and perfectly timed.
Dire's top
Absolutely
tower
perfectly
is under
timed.
attack.
Infamous are playing some damn good Dota right now, I must admit.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Now comes the hard part, though. Infamous need to find a way to break the high ground and start taking some tier 3s and some racks. And it's going to get more and more difficult, because we've been kind of keeping tabs on Goody, and look at his gold right now. That's almost enough for his Radiance. So he'll have that in just a few seconds, because that's going to make it more difficult for Infamous to try and break that high ground. But they certainly have a nice gold lead, or in terms of items. They have a nice item lead, and we expect the gold lead to be heavily in their favor, and it is at 15,000 as XP. Not as high, but it's approaching the 10k mark. So Infamous in a pretty big lead here, as Ryu is going to get the Aegis as they claim Roche. He's sitting on 2,500 gold right now. The mech is completed by Z-Talk. We already saw the Blink Dagger from X. He's also got drums. Excel's finished his Aether Lens. Greedy almost has his Aether Lens as he's going to jump forward. As they're just going to go on the bear here. Goody does have another resummon, so even if they get that kill on the Spirit Bearer, they'll have to do it again.
Radiant's bottom
Ryu spent his
tower
gold.
is
This
under
is
attack.
completed an Octarine core. So we're going to have a smoke, and it's a 5-man smoke from Not Today. As they're going to go for a wraparound play.
Dire's middle tower is
And they're
under
going to try to go on Greedy here, as he's going to be the target. Exorcism already popped. Greedy's going to be able to blink away as huge crush coming out, as it's going to stun up a whole bunch of heroes on Not Today, and this is not working out well for them, as they're in a whole lot of trouble. Jerry's in trouble, DDX is in trouble, G's had to banish himself, Glacius on very low HP, and now they all just start falling apart. Ryu is doing so much damage with this Exorcism, as we have 3 heroes dead on the side of Not Today, as it's Ryu with a beyond godlike streak. He's sitting at 9-0 and 10 right now, as he is just dominating this game. But it's not just him, it's everyone on the side of Infamous just playing incredible Dota right now, and just showing that between these two teams, they're the ones that deserve to go further. But they're going to have to do it another game, because I imagine the GG call is going to come out soon. As they're going to lose a Rax here, we'll probably see one more fight. But then I imagine Not Today, unless something drastically changes in their favor, they're probably going to tap out there. But the Rax will just barely fall. But G is respawned and he TP's on in, so they're not going to get the range Rax here. They're going to have to back away. The question is, will Not Today be able to pick anyone off? Or will this just be the end? Is they're just going to turn around as Ryu is going to drop G? But the Dazzle's already gone down, but now everyone on the side of Not Today goes down. And yeah, that's just going to be it. GG's going to get called as Infamous begins dropping their items all over the ground just to make it a pain in the ass for all the statisticians out there. As they pick up different items and that just messes with everything. But GG does get called by Not Today, and we'll have Infamous take game 1 of that series, 29-11. As my goodness, Infamous, that was some damn good Dota there, as they completely demolished Not Today. And I want to remind you guys, this is the losers bracket. So if Not Today lose this next game, that's it. They're done. They're out of the Dota 2 Canada Cup. And we'll have Infamous advancing to the next round. But it is a best of 3, so Not Today are going to have that one chance, but Infamous have 2 chances to claim that victory and move on. And we're going to have Game 2 coming up in just a few minutes. As once again, guys, I'm Niz. Welcome. Thank you. Not welcome. Thank you for stopping by and checking out NizCast and listening to me cast the game. But we will have the rest of the series coming up in just a few minutes, so feel free to stick with us through this short break before the players are ready to go. But yeah, I'm going to throw it to some music, and we'll be back in just a few.